Hey, blessed love, blessed love. How you guys doing on this beautiful Friday evening? I'm hoping that everyone is doing awesome on this lovely day. Well, you guys see the topic. The topic is have the heat. If you get in this type of heat, has it affecting your plants in any way? I, my garden, usually I'm a guy, I don't really wet my plants because as I grew up, seeing that we never used to wet our plants, especially when we plant in ingrown. We never used to wet our plants, and I see these plants survive and produce food in abundance, whether it's a drought or not. We never used to wet plants, and I've been trying the same method for years now, where I'm actually not wetting my plants and my garden always able to strive through that heat because I've developed some skill that really works. That really works for your garden. So even though you're not getting the rain, your garden still able to strive. I believe it's like about 3 weeks now. I ain't get no rain. Yes, I think it's around 3 weeks. Yes, something like that. I ain't get no rain. And the heat is just 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. When you come out in the morning, the plants them looking beautiful. But then when you come out in the midday, when you look at the plants them in the midday, the heat, the sun, all the squash them, the leaf look like they just lying down, on just lying down. Your peppers, even the peppers that love. Hey Mike, what's going on, man? My weather still 90 and day 60. Next, wow. You still getting 90, Mike? Mike, I'm still, listen to me, I'm getting 90 every day. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you on that, Mike. I agree with you on that. It is not because, and you know what? We and all this was happening in the spring too. We wasn't even in the summer as yet. We now hit in the summer, and we actually, I've been dealing with this weather for a while now. Actually, for a while, I've been dealing with this weather. Maybe like 3 weeks now. So it's I know I accustomed deal with hot weather. I accustomed deal with 3 weeks without rain, but not this early. Most of the time it just be like in the heart of the summer. I never deal with it in the spring. 60s today, rain last 3 days, no sun. Oh wow. Wow. Some I don't know man, but something is up because when I look at some of my, I have a pepper tree, a hot pepper. I have a hot pepper tree. And the hot pepper tree was pushing out flowers. It had on flowers and it had on a few small little pepper. And the sun penetrate that plant so much that the top of the pepper, where it sprout out the new leaf, it keeps sprouting out the new leaf, it just dry out. I can't remember ever seeing that. Doesn't matter how hard it is, doesn't matter how much rain we did not get for a period of time. I never see these things. So I'm actually seeing some, listen me, I'm seeing some strange things that I never saw in gardening this year. And for the people who know me, they know I really pay attention to my plants. I pay attention to everything. I pay attention to the soil. I pay attention to everything. Listen me. There's even this year, last year, I saw a beetle, one, and the way it looked, I said, damn, this look like it is something designed. The way the beetle look is something like it designed. This year, on my mango tree, my mango tree have now start flowers in again. It push flowers all year this year. It lose all the flowers and it pushing back flowers again. When I look, I see beetles all over the mango tree. I never saw that before. All over, paste all over the mango tree. And I'm saying, my goodness, what is this? I'm asking myself, are they pollinating, help pollinating, or they just eating off the flowers from the mango? And for what I'm noticing, I was noticing that they're more eating than pollinating. So I'm telling you, it's a lot of stuff going on. And we really got to be mindful and take things serious. I'm not seeing butterfly. I barely seeing bees. And I'm seeing things that actually eating. You understand? Instead of the pollinate, they eat it. So we got to be mindful of that. But the weather is on a different level this year. And the thing is, we actually we now hit summer. And I've been dealing with this type of weather for the past 3 weeks. Even with our plants now. I'm telling you right now, I never saw anything eat off the head of my pepper them. I never saw it in all these years. I'm growing food, growing peppers. I'm growing bell pepper over 10 years now. Gardening keep us humble. I agree, Mike. I agree with that. I agree. Yes, I agree. It kind of bring you to a place where you understand. You know what I'm saying? Things happen and we just understand that this is how it is. Because even though look for instance, Mike, I know your squirrel and them is your body, but the squirrel and them over by me is definitely, they eat off all my peach. I lose all the plum. But I'm not gonna give up because the thing is one thing I understand in gardening. I understand you got to plan for you and the animals. Because the animal will eat regardless. So we have to plan for ourselves and the animals. So if the animal eat, it wouldn't even bother you because you know that the animal have to eat as well. So when you're doing gardening, you got to plan for the birds, you got to plan for the lizard, the spider, the rabbit, whatever come by. You got to plan for everything because they're going to come regardless. They're going to come regardless. So don't do it and feel disappointed because they're going to come. No, we also have the bees. We also have the bugs that comes and eat down the leaf of our plant. Sometimes our herbs them growing so beautiful. Then we have the bugs them come in and eat up the leaf of the plant. What can we do? You see, I don't even force myself to be spraying anything. I just leave them. Sometimes I might come out and I might just pick them off with my hands But the spraying, I don't even do that because I've learned and I've get to understand. Hey, G Mama, what's up? How you doing? Thank you for being here. Yes, I thank you all for being here, man. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for being here as well. Appreciate you all. Yes. So you gotta just understand that the squirrel gotta eat whatever come by, gonna eat. So you just gotta have that in your mind. So when it do happen, you understand. But right now, the weather is on another level, and this type of weather is weather that can, if you continue get this type of weather, you can turn out, you can lose a lot. You could lose seeds. You see what I'm saying? You because if you lose your crop, you actually lose your seeds. You see what I'm saying? If you lose your crop, you actually lose your seeds. So guys, save as much as you can. Save your seed as much as you can. Because the kind of type of weather we getting, and we don't even know how the summer. We don't even know how the weather gonna be for the summer. Maybe it might be worse. So in these times, we gotta be prepared because we don't know what's coming. So what I say, save your seed in case, because if like for instance, if the heat is pouring down so hard on the plants them and they drying them up and you losing your plants because I see, and it's not just the sun, it's also animal. I see a lady posts a video, a lady posts a video, and the deers them eat down her whole garden. Do you hear what I'm saying? Her whole garden, all her squash, all her beans, her potato. They eat down all her whole garden. And she asking if they will come back. Some of them will come back, some of them will come back, but the challenges that we start facing, you see, the challenges we start. Hey, GT Junior, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. What's going on? Jimama say my pepper outside dropping from the heat. Yes, Jimama, yes. I'm telling you, I had to water them twice. Yes, yes. This is the time you have to watch and you got to pay attention. You got to water. If you got to water them, as a guy, I don't like water plant. I'm telling you the truth. I really don't. But the type of weather we get in, ALP, how you doing? The type of weather that we get in these days, we got to be careful or you wouldn't eat. I'm telling you, you will lose your crop. With this type of heat, with this type of heat, when you listen me, when you come out in the middle of the day and you look at the plants, and they look like they're not coming back. They look like that's it. But when the night come, they revive themselves. They come back to life. Right now, I have some seedlings, some okra that I want to plant out, and I don't even, I don't even want to plant them because if I plant them the way the sun hot, I might just lose them. So I'm just have them there growing. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Unicorn Lady, how you doing? Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys. Guys, if you have what is going on with your garden, let us know how the heat, how you striving through this heat. You see, the thing with me, what I do, I plant I always plant my plants them deep. My grow bag soil, let me put it on the screen, okay? My grow bag soil is dry. Oh man, I could imagine. I could imagine, Jimama. I can imagine. I can imagine. I can imagine. It's really, really tough. This is a tough garden season, guys. And just pay attention, watch what's going on, and try to, for the people, especially container garden, I think you should try to get up all in the morning, give them a little water, just a little. And then in the evening, you could give them some water as well. Just a little water to keep them because you don't want to go out in the middle of the day. You don't want to go out in the middle of the day and wetting them. You don't want to go out in the middle of the day and wetting plants because I don't know if you guys, the other day I say, you know what? Let me give them a liquor sprinkle. Some of them plants I have in the container. And when I go in the drum, when I'm go in the drum, the water was hot like fire. When I go in the container, the water was hot like fire for me to wet the plants. So what I'm saying is go in the middle, don't go in the middle of the day and water your plant. You get up early and you go and water them or you water them at night. If you feel like you could water them a little in the morning and a little in the night. In the night, you ain't have to do too much because there's a dew come down in the night and, sprinkle them a little. But to deal with this type of heat, you don't know how long this heat gonna be going for. We don't know if this heat gonna be going till next week. We don't know. We now hitting the summer, we don't know. So I will pay attention to my plants. Now, when you planting in ground, this is why I always say, this is why I always say, plant, others dig my holes them 12 inches deep. Is a reason I do that. The reason for that is because when we start meeting drought, because I don't wet my plants, so when the heat start coming on, it take weeks before the sun penetrate down to the root of the plant. It take weeks before that could happen. So at the end of the day, your plants them is still feeding from the moisture to the bottom. But if you just plant them 3 inches deep, in no time, if you're going through a drought, in no time, the plant's gonna dry up. Why the plant's gonna dry up? Because the heat gonna penetrate and start be, beating the roots them. And when it beat the roots, you're gonna dry up the roots and then you're gonna lose your plant. So this is a good way. I've been doing it for years and it works. Plant them deep. You're not supposed to be seeing white root above the soil. All white roots should always be covered. No root should be exposed. Whether it's sun, whether it's raining, or whether it's we're dealing with the heat. So this is why you're supposed to plant them deep because the root, while it keep pushing root, it have it deep enough so the root will always be covered. Because if the sun penetrate the small root, it's gonna damage them. Then the plant's not gonna grow. Then the plant's not gonna survive. So It's important to plant deep, especially when we're dealing with these type of weather. Okay? Now in container again, like I always say this. Plant in big containers that the root, you don't want the root to grow and reach the surface of the container because with this type of heat, the container itself, I was feeling a container today, right? I said, let me feel this container. It's a plastic container. And when I put my hands on the container, it's almost burned me. You see, it's naturally burned me. That's how hot the container was. Could you imagine that the root of that plant is jamming on that container? It's gonna get damaged. The root's gonna get damaged. So this is why it's good to plant in big containers. So when it's spread out, it have enough room that the root is not gonna hit the surface. There will be soil between the container and the root. You see what I'm saying? So when the sun penetrating the container, is not gonna be damaging the root because the root is not touching the container. And these are things I've learned over the years, and this is why I'm sharing it. That especially the new gardeners, plant in big container. Do not put these plants in these little squeeze up container because you're not gonna get the production you looking for or you expect. Especially you especially now where we realize that the heat is on another level. We don't know this year, we don't know next year, we don't know. So we have to plant in ways that our plants able to survive the heat. Even though sometimes, look for instance, right? I do container garden as well. I have all kind of stuff in container. I have squash, I have all kind of herbs in containers, all different kind of plants. And even though I'm dealing with 90 something degrees and I don't need to put a frost cloth over them. Not frost cloth like the heat cloth. Some people have to actually put the shade cloth over their plants. One way you could avoid that is the container, the size of the container. Because once the root of the plant ain't damaged, you ain't got to worry. This is why when you come out and morning, your plants looking beautiful. But when you come out in the middle of the day, they're looking different. But when you go back in the evening, they're back to normal. You know why? Because the sun is not damaging the root. If the sun is damaging the root, they're gonna start quail and dry. They're not gonna revive like how when you come in the morning they revive and in the evening they revive. They're gonna just start drying. So big containers is marvelous. And I'm also say, guys, like you always hear me talk about leaf. When you create a leaf compost in your container, right? When you create that, that help keep your soil moist. That help keep your soil moist and also a little clay soil. Some people don't like clay soil, but they don't understand how important clay soil is. A layer of clay soil in your container help keep keep moisture because it's important to have moisture in your container, especially when we're dealing with this type of weather. So three keys I'm giving you right now. Big container and always add like grass clippings, like the grass clippings you might have, add some. always add some leaf in they will break down eventually, and when they break down they become compost. But now they help hold moisture in your container. So once your container is big enough, once the container is big enough, and you have your leaf or your grass clippings, whatever inside your container, your plants stand a better chance of dealing with these type of weather. Okay, because now the only thing is beating is the leaf of the plant. So this is why we come out and the leaf look like that. But once the root is well protected, you ain't got to worry about the leaf, because in the evening they're gonna come back, and in the morning they're gonna look brilliant. It's just when that heat penetrate them, it made them look weary. Because yes, of course, ourselves, don't we? When the sun penetrates us, don't we get tired and weary? Yes, same thing with the plants. No, when the sun penetrate these plants, once the root is well protected, you don't need to worry too much. So for the people who do container garden, and guys, let me tell you, this is the next thing I'm gonna tell you guys. The next thing I'm gonna tell you guys is try to keep your plants away from the midday heat. Midday 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Keep your plant. Watch the sun. Watch the sun. Watch the sun. And wherever 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that's because that where it have it from 12 o'clock, go right back to maybe like 2, 3 o'clock. It's remain there. So that's them plant is just getting that beating, that beating. So if you doing container, pay attention to that. Or if you decide to do a raised bed garden, pay attention to that midday heat. Don't get me wrong. The sun, plants love the sun. But now when it over too hot, you see what I'm saying? They love the sun, they enjoy the sunlight, just like how it make us uncomfortable. It's the same thing it do to the plant. It made them uncomfortable. So that made the heat could really destroy a plant, and especially if the container is not big enough, it could definitely destroy your crop. I'm telling you, I feel a container today in the heat, and the heat that comes off of that container actually burn my hand. So it tells you, if the plant, the root of the plant is hitting on that container, it's gonna damage the end of the root. So if every day these plants got to get their root damaged, what you think gonna happen? You're gonna back their growth. You're gonna start see a lot of yellow leaf, and they're surely not gonna produce the way they should. They're surely not gonna produce. So it's better you be prepared and prepare yourself the right way than to be sorry when the weather, when you got to be dealing with these type of weather. Because even though I'm getting this type of weather, it not really doing much to me. Yes, I have one pepper tree I saw that the heat is a hot pepper. And I'm actually growing a hot pepper the first time for this year. And the heat of that pepper, because you know the pepper growing, so it keep pushing out new the new leaf to grow. And the heat naturally scorch out the top of that pepper. You see, so I'm not getting too much of the damage. And then in my containers, I plant in big containers. You know, sometimes you could use half a drum. If you get half a drum, you know them plastic drum, you could use this plastic drum. You could use 25-gallon container. The thing about 25-gallon container, you can grow so much. This is the thing, guys, especially if you grow in herbs. You can grow so much in a container. So much you can grow in a 25-gallon container. But you know why? Because it's wide and it's deep. So all, even though you grow, you might be growing, like for instance, let me see if I can show you guys this. I'm growing a mango tree, right? I'm growing a mango tree, but I'm also growing different herbs around it. You see, let me see if I can show you guys this. And this is actually a 25-gallon container. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. Hold on. You see, guys, this is actually, I have a mango tree growing here. I also have this growing here. This is a fawn. This plant, I'm getting to understand that this plant cleans soil. So I'm just growing it here to help purify the soil, which I'm testing it. We also have a marigold. Look how big this marigold plant is. Look how wide it is. From here, come right back around here. All this is one marigold. We also have basil. This is a basil right here. You see? We also have sweet stevia. This is sweet stevia. This is sweet stevia as well. We have turmeric, and we also have, this is our oregano. So what I'm saying here is, if you use, and look how they big, everything growing beautiful. If you use big containers, and I'm not watch, and this is a mango tree. This is a mango tree I also have in the container. So what I'm saying is, if you use big containers, I have a fruit tree. Could you imagine? I have a fruit tree growing, but I also have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven herbs growing inside there, and all of them comfortable. You see, because why? The container is big, and the root, they have enough room to spread themselves. Okay, look at this one here. This is a lemongrass. You see how this lemongrass growing nice? That, you see, I have it in a big container. These are very important, guys. I also have a basil growing inside here, as you can see. So I have the lemongrass that growing beautiful, and I also have the basil. So what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. The big containers, okay. Yes, this is why I'm saying, if you use big containers instead of these small containers and having the sun penetrating the container and damaging the roots of the plants, you're not gonna get production. So, but if the container is big enough and wide enough and deep enough, they're gonna produce. You see, once the container is big enough, they will produce. And now, look how everything look. The containers them I now show you there. Look how everything looking green, and they in the burning sun. You understand? Burning sun every day. But their root is well protected. There's enough soil in the container to protect their roots. So even though the sun is hot, yes, it might quail down their leaf in the day, but guess what? In the evening, they back to life like nothing happened. So this is what I'm trying to say, guys. Even though you're gardening in a drought, you have to know what to do to be successful. Even though you're gardening in a drought, you have to know how to pack your containers. You have to know how to pack your container. It's important to know how to pack because you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared in case you got to deal with a drought. In case you got to deal where you're not getting rain. In case you got to deal with situation where where there's no water. You still want to be able to eat from what you plant. So a good way, if you're doing in-ground, is to make sure you plant them deep if you can. Put them down at least 10 to 12 inches deep. Once you do that, if you're dealing with a drought, say you're dealing with a drought and you ain't getting no water for 3 weeks, your plants will still survive. Whether you wet them or not, they will still survive. Because why? Their root is well protected. The sun, the heat is not getting down to penetrate their root, so they're okay. Because remember, the root of the plant is life. That's the life of the plant, is the roots. The roots is the life of the plants. So if you protect the root and your plant stand a chance of surviving, even though the sun, once the root is protected, even though the sun decide to burn up the leaf of the plant, once the root is well protected, it's going to push more fresh root leaf. Even though the sun burn off the leaf, the once the root is protected, it will push more leaf. So this is why your roots of your plant is important. Don't plant if you're growing herbs, them small root herbs, there's a lot of herbs that have small root, like basil. A lot of them have small root. Then you could take a chance of small containers because they have small root. But when you're dealing with pepper, when you're dealing with plants with bigger roots, you surely want to make sure the size of the container is the right size. If the container is too big, it's not a problem. When it's a problem is when it's too small. That's when it become a problem. But if it's too big, it's not a problem. And like I say, guys, every fall, get leaf, grass clipping and put in your container. Sometimes if you do that and you maintain your container, your soil gonna be beautiful. By the time spring come, your soil ready for planting. So what's happening, these leaves gonna break down and they're gonna start feeding your soil. And at the same time, you're gonna create this kind of fluffy, mulchy that help protect the roots of your plant. That will help shade your plant. That will help keep away the heat from the plant. So these are things that's very important, guys. These are really, and this is from my experience. I'm sharing here with you guys. Wait, hold on. Mike say hold on. Mike say, I'm watering log. Okay, wow, okay. Man, listen to me. It's a tough season. It's a tough season, and I don't know how long it's gonna go for. None of us know how long it's gonna go for, but I know I ain't seen no rain for the past, I think it's the past 3 weeks now. I ain't seen no rain. But because of the way I plant, I don't have to worry with the watering. Yes, sometimes I might sprinkle some water in the container them because I already know the heat that penetrate them. So you don't want the heat to dry out all the moisture. So you gotta, you damp it, you wet them, you give them some water. But once you in ground, I don't wet plant that in ground. Only the one in the container. And the reason why I can't do that is because I plant deep. And planting deep, the truth is, planting deep is not just about the benefit from the drought. Is you're gonna harvest a lot of nutrient as well. If you notice, you see the leaf from the plant them. This is why I love using the leaf from the plant. And I also like to use the body, the tree body, the trunk of the trees them. I like to use them. Why I like to use them? Because what happens is these big trees push their root very deep into the soil, very deep into the soil. And these trees suck a lot of nutrients from under the ground. So these trees, when these trees suck the nutrient out of the soil, it pull it up in the tree, in the plant. So all the leaf is ending up with the nutrient, the body of the tree is ending up with the nutrient. So this is the reason why I love using leaf because it's rich. The leaf and the body of the tree is rich. It's full of nutrients, it's full of mineral because this tree is sucking a lot of minerals out of the ground, the lot of nutrients out of the ground. So this is why I love that. And also the leaf, the benefit of the leaf. You need to watch some leaf break down. Just watch the leaf after it break down and see how it turn. So beautiful, man. So beautiful. So when you add that into your soil, it kind of create um, a layer of protection for the root and also feeding the root with nutrients and minerals at the same time. So you don't want, I don't want to talk stuff about stuff that you purchase. I don't want to talk about that. But what I'll say, even though you're using these things, always take up some leaf and mix with it. Always do that. And if you buy compost, always add soil to the compost. Don't just plant in the raw compost. Like for instance, you go to the store and you buy a couple bags of compost and you might just throw that in your raised bed or you might just throw that in your container and then what you do, you just plant your food in that soil, in that container with just the compost. Well, you need soil in that container. A matter of fact, you're supposed to have more soil than compost. Compost should only be something that adding to the soil to help add more nutrients and minerals to the soil. The compost should never be taking over the dirt, the soil. The soil should always be more. The compost is adding, like you're shaking some compost in the container to add nutrients to the soil, not to take over. So I see, I see Like I was passing the other day, and I see where they start a garden. And the crazy thing about it is they have a forest right side them. Where they do in the garden, there's a forest right side them. And when I look, I see they have about 50 bags of compost. And I'm saying, you have the soil right there by the edge of right there. You have all that rich natural soil right there. And you have like 50 bags of compost. And what I see they do as well, that what I see they do, they shake the bags them in raised bed. So now they frame out the raised bed and they shake the compost in the bags. If it's me, if it's me, what I'll do, I'll go with a fork in the raised bed and I will fork up the bottom, and then I'm gonna mix it with some of the compost. But what they do, they put just compost and now the planting in the compost itself. It's important, guys, to have plants love soil. So nothing wrong with using compost, but the compost should be an addition to the soil to add nutrient. And don't be scared to use your natural soil in your backyard, guys. Don't be scared at all, because a lot of times we underestimate the soil that we have in our backyard. You know, let me see. You know what? Let me see if I could show you guys again where I'm growing some. I'm growing yam. I'm growing different type of squash in a small area, and this is just a test. I want to see how all these plants gonna do together. So now I have different type of squash. I also have yam growing, pepper in a little small little area, and they actually growing in clay soil. And I'm gonna show you guys, because the thing is, a lot of people don't believe in clay soil. And the thing is, clay soil is very challenging. That's the thing. Clay soil is challenging. It's kind of hard to work with, but it's rich in mineral. It's a rich soil. The thing with clay soil, you cannot leave it. You have to always walk it. Because if you just leave it, what's gonna happen is gonna compact. So you have to always remember to go in and soften it, break it up, because if you ain't break it up, it's gonna start compact. And when it start compacting, it's make it hard for the root of the plants to spread. But don't underestimate clay soil. Let me see if I can show you guys a little here with clay soil. You mightn't able to identify the plants them, because is they all running on each other while you see. So I'm gonna show you a minute here. 1 second. Okay, this is yam growing here. This is a squash growing here. You could see there. This is a different type of squash growing here. I'm not sure if you guys can see. This is a different type of squash growing here. Let me see if I can show you a next one. This is the next one down inside there. I'm not sure. This one here. First time growing it. But what I'm saying is, and as you can see right here, that's pepper growing right there. Okay? Now, this is tomatillo. All these are yam growing up down inside here. But look at the soil. Do you see the soil? The soil is red clay, but look how green and healthy the plants looking. You see, and they're doing awesome. Look, red clay. You see, natural red clay. But look how the plants them looking healthy. All right. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Don't underestimate your soil in your backyard, and don't underestimate clay soil, because clay soil is very rich in minerals. Like these plants I now show you there, I have, let me tell you what type of plant I have growing there. I have turmeric growing there. I have three different type of yam growing there. I have three different type of squash growing there. I have tomatillo growing. I have turmeric. I have pepper growing there. Now, if you notice there, how and the squash them, they running on each other. The yams them, they running on each other. I just want to see how they survive, how they make it. You see, because this is the next thing again. In gardening, we have to always try things or we're not gonna know. If we ain't try, we wouldn't know. If we don't try, we wouldn't know. So as you see, I don't know if you guys were seeing, but it's actually red clay, naturally red clay, raw red clay. Like no, some other person, what some other people might do. Some people might do now go and buy compost and throw on top of that. No, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grow in the clay soil. Then in the fall, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some leaf into the clay soil and mix it in and leave it for the spring. So the clay already rich in minerals. Now you add in nutrients. So now you making this soil into a super soil. So don't underestimate the soil you have in your backyard. You might just be surprised of what you could get out of that soil. Okay, and sometimes you might have a backyard and you have some trees to the edge of your backyard, and sometimes you could rake up some leaves. Sometimes you could grab a rake and you could rake up some leaves. Sometimes you could just rake some leaf and pull some compost from under the leaf and just sprinkle it around your plant. That's one of the best compost you could ever. Let me tell you, from my experience, right? From my experience, some of the richest compost I ever use is from the body of the tree trunk and the leaf. Let me give you a maple tree, oak tree. Their leaf and their body is rich. If you're able to get a maple tree breakdown in your soil, it change everything. So the maple tree, the oak tree, even a pine tree, the pine needle that a lot of people believe don't break down. That's good for your soil too. I mean, it take a long time to break down, but guess what? Let me tell you what it do to your soil too. It also help protect the root, and it also, while it breaking down, it also adding nutrients to your soil. So it's a lot of things. You see, you know, we don't know a lot of things because it wasn't meant for us to know. Because if we know, we will go directly to these things. We're not gonna go anywhere and buy anything. You see what I'm saying? So it was like thought, oh, just go to the store, man. The store have it. Instead of tell you, just go to your backyard, dig up some soil, and put in your container. That's where you're supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to be told. But no, you hear something different. You see, I know better because I've been doing it for a long time. I know better. So this is, and with my experience and with my experiment, them, it's hard for me to just accept certain things. You see what I'm saying? It's hard for me to accept it because of what I see with my own eyes while dealing with plants, while dealing with soil. It's just so much. Yes, guys. So thank you guys for coming out again. I appreciate you guys. Well, guys, remember on the 25th of June is for the last update of Planter Herb Garden Challenge. For the last update. So I will be looking forward to see these videos. I cannot wait. This is gonna be the final update, and on the 30th of June, this is when we're gonna be calling out the prices. So I want to say thanks to all the participants who come out and did their thing. I know it was challenging, but you guys keep going. So I appreciate you all. Thank you all for being a part of the Plant a Herb Garden Challenge. And I'm looking forward for the next video. And we will be having that giveaway on the 30th. There will be several people gonna able to win prizes. All right, we have cash prizes, we have gift card prizes. Let me call out the shout out to all the people who donate. Shout out to Variety of Aspect. Shout out to Fifi Urban Homestead. Shout out to Jim Mama. Shout out to TIG. I think it's TIGY. Right, I think it's TIGY. Shout out to you for donating to this challenge so that we can actually have prize that people can win for their hard work. I truly appreciate everyone. I truly appreciate you all. You guys did an amazing job and still doing an amazing job. We're gonna have a beautiful time on the 30th of June. We're gonna have a grand time on the 30th of June. Yes, don't forget, guys, I will be featuring someone. I will be featuring their channel on that day. I will be showing all their videos from start, from the first upload to the last. So there will a channel will be featured. I don't know which channel as yet, but there will be a channel featured on that day. Once the internet is acting right, I will be also showing few clips from others. I cannot show everyone whole journey, but I think it's fair to highlight people, man, because you guys did an amazing job and still doing an amazing job. You guys didn't give up, regardless of all the struggle you went through. Some people plant die. They had also go back over and reset more seed. I mean, it was pretty challenging. It was pretty challenging. But the goal was never to give up. The goal was whether your seedling did not make it, you had the opportunity to set more seed. We gave that opportunity because we wanted everyone on the end of the journey to turn to be successful. So shout out to all the people who make it to the end. You guys did amazing, man. All right. So on that day, everyone gonna get shout out, especially the people who did not drop out, the people who pushed to the end. They will all get a shout out on that day. Somebody gonna get their channel promote on that day. And let's just have a good time on that day. Come out with your tea ready. I will be drinking tea. I will be drinking fresh herbs that night. Some nice mint. Yeah, that's what I'll be drinking on that night. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for participating and being a part of it. Really appreciate you guys. And next year we come in again. We come in next year again with another planter herb garden challenge. All right, so don't forget. And if you're interested in joining, you can email me. You can just let me know. But we coming again next year. Okay. This is a really, yes, this is a very challenging year. Not just the weather. I'm telling you, with the bugs, the beetles, you barely could see. The thing is, let me tell you, you barely seeing butterfly. You hardly seeing bees, and these are the things that really help pollinate your plants. These are the things that pollinate your garden. These are the things that make your garden pollinate and able to produce fruits, right? Or food. We're not seeing them. But what we're seeing things that eat in your plants and eating your flowers off of your fruit trees. That's what we're seeing. No pollinators. Don't get me wrong, beetles help pollinate. Beetles, according to what they say beetles is good pollinators. But for what I'm seeing on the mango tree, I'm seeing they eating the flowers. I ain't seeing nothing going on there about pollinating. I'm seeing the eating and the stuff them just dropping off on the ground. That's what I'm seeing, and it's so much. It's so much on one tree. So that tells me something. It tells me something. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button, all right? I appreciate it. Yes. So what's going on, guys? What's going on? Shout out to all you guys out there putting in the work in the garden. Know you guys doing your thing. Shout out to each and every one of you out there, man. I appreciate you guys. Just keep growing, keep learning, because I'm gonna tell you this. You never stop learning in garden. So keep growing, keep learning, and stay positive at the same time. In gardening, if you have an open mind, you will learn every day. You will learn something every day. If you have an open mind, you will learn something new every day. So stay focused, stay positive. All right. So thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, GT Junior. Thank you, G Mama Grows. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Unicorn Tech. Thanks everyone who come out tonight, man. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Happy gardening to all. Peace.